to healing.
You talked about a child would always want their parents' validation. So, in a situation where a child did not receive that validation, when they grow up and they have that trauma with them, does that go away, or is that something you still is stuck with you? Like, how would you even process that? Because you said a lot of it should be yourself, like work on yourself, but how do you deal with that missing link that still feels like, okay, but there's a void here, how do I fill this? Or do you
Yeah,
fill it at all?
right. I think that again, as human beings, attachment is innate in us, and we that's our core need to our growing up to feel secure and safe. And as you become aware, if some have had unfortunate experiences where that wasn't available to them because of life experiences or what was happening at that time. When you become aware of that, then people can heal from those experiences and create secure attachments in adult years. In understanding again what has happened to us, um, in having an awareness of those experiences can help move away from some of the coping that may have developed to cope with those situations, and access some relationships that feel secure and can fill that void of attachment, right? And sometimes in that understanding and acceptance, one can heal from those experiences as well. And when we can heal from them, when we can understand from them, it creates a little bit of distance from it, rather than living in uh, that vortex all the time. Because sometimes one doesn't realize again that we are living in the primitive part of the brain, and the learning brain doesn't open. But when we are able to accept that that was our experience then and it's different now, one can heal from those experiences and foster new connections that can fill that up.
And so that limiting part of the brain would have to do with survival.
The primitive part of the brain, the survival brain.
Sorry, primitive.
Yes.
Did I say limiting part? I don't know what I just said.
Yeah, that's no,
Primiting
but
part, yes.
I know we meant the same thing.
Yeah, that really relates. My experience with anxiety was sort of like that when I broke it down. A lot of what it would make me feel is that this thing is dangerous. But when I looked at logically what that thing was, it was the feeling of it was more dangerous than the actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes sense to me that you say it's linked with survival. So a technique that I was introduced with that helped me is called reparenting yourself. So it not an easy task, but I would say it was worth it, because the reason why it's difficult is because it feels like you're changing what normal is to you, which can be, like you said, those core beliefs sometimes you don't want to let go, or like they're just too deeply rooted in there. But that, like, it's just a very empowering method where you can provide yourself with those things that you felt you didn't get, and now you as an adult can parent yourself in that way and heal, like you said, that void. Reparenting.
I'm not familiar with that term,
okay.
so thank you for introducing that to me. But it's when you said that, it drew my awareness to self-soothing and healing practices within self, where one has the capability of nurturing self.
That's exactly
right.
It, yeah.
And one understands that and accepts that I may not have had that then. However, I can have this now. I can feel safe now. I can connect with that part of self that needs nurturing, and honors that nurturing is important to self.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's never too late to heal those
No,
things. Okay,
no,
awesome.
it's ongoing. Nurturing is nurturing, and healing is an ongoing process that we're going to have it through a lifetime.
Good point. Yeah, that's another myth that, like, you fix yourself and then that's it. But it is an ongoing, it's like exercise. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah, and fixing is required when something is broken.
Yeah, even though fix yourself, you're right about that.
Right. And so this is, as life experiences happen to us, distress shows up. And as we're learning along the way and evolving, we're also reaching out and seeking ways where we can regulate ourselves, continue to challenge judgments that we have about ourselves, others, or the world, and really rely on our core values, and continue to challenge the core beliefs that don't hold true anymore for us.
Another episode of the Speak Real podcast, sharing one-on-one conversations. We believe that storytelling is the best way to empower youth and give them the platform to find their voices.
Presented by YouthSpeak. Youth experience, youth voice, youth empowered.